Hello, and welcome in to the swarm here on the Hive Media. I am JPJ, and I am excited to be here. Lots to talk about this week in pro sports and pro wrestling. We are just hours away from the last match in John Cena's career, and I will be right back here on the Hive tonight. We are doing a watch party for Saturday night's main event for John Cena's last match. I believe it'll probably be Josh and myself for the duration, and we're going to have our other Hive friends and maybe some other friends popping in and saying hello and hanging out. It's kind of, come by, hang out as long as you want, but I think Josh and I have committed to doing the whole show, so I think it'll at least be us two, and then we'll have some of our friends popping in. So if you're watching Saturday night's main event tonight, and you're going to be emotional, and we're going to be in our feels and all this we will be here for you, and we'll be here to have a good time. If you've ever watched any of the watch parties me and Josh do Raw every week, it's always a blast. Peggy and Jamie do Dynamite, always a good time as well, plus PLEs, and we mix and match the crews and things like that. But we will be here tonight live, probably 5 minutes or so before Saturday night's main event starts. And we're going to watch John Cena's last match. We're going to talk about that at more length in a little bit. I know I usually start with wrestling, and then we do sports towards the second half of the show. And I am going to save the football for the end of the show. But I'm going to start with something sports related because something happened this week that really, really got under my skin. And I need to dive into it. But before I dive into that, you know what you all should do? You should dive into some clean energy drinks is what you should do. 100%. You got a busy weekend ahead of you. You got to watch all the football. You got to stay up late to watch Saturday night's main event. It's holiday time. Everyone's running around, stressed out. It's busy time, man. And we need all the energy we can get. And our pals at W Energy, they have the cleanest energy. No sugars. You don't get no jitters after you drink it, or, you don't get that sometimes icky feeling you get. This is just straight up clean energy. Multiple flavors to choose from. If you head over to their website, w.gg, and you type in that promo code, The Hive, all one word, you will receive 10% off your order. Do you have somebody in your family, significant other, partner, who knows, that loves energy drinks? Well, Christmas is right around the corner. Y'all be a nice little stocking stuffer. Nice little stocking stuffer, getting them, a little pick a flavor. They got fruit punch. They got a bunch. Go on there, peruse the site, pick a flavor. It'll be worth your time, I promise. It'll be worth your time. That is our pals over at W Energy. That is w.gg. Promo code The Hive, all one word, and you will get 10% off your order. This episode of The Swarm, as is every episode of The Swarm, is powered by our pals at W Energy. So go check them out. All right. Oh, guys, big free agency and baseball news of the week is that slugger, first baseman, Pete Alonso, one could argue one of the best bat in the free agent market, best power bat at least in the free agent market, signed a 5-year, $155 million deal with the Baltimore Orioles. Big get for them, big signing for them, but I need to talk about it because I need to talk about my Boston Red Sox. Because Pete Alonso had been somebody that had been tied to the Red Sox the majority of this year. And going into free agency, it was kind of like, oh, Pete Alonso, like he Boston's a favorite. Boston's a favorite for him to show up there and all this. And, we had our GM, Craig Breslow, out there at the winter meetings. And even before that saying, we're going to go get a number 2 pitcher behind Crochet. And we got to get a big bat. We got to address the lineup, a bat or 2, he said. And here we are, Pete Alonso, who Made it, he wasn't hiding behind the fact that that Boston was somewhere he potentially wanted to be as well. His wife is from Quincy, Massachusetts. All sorts of things. He is the perfect bat. You trade Rafael Devers last year for a bag of dicks. You get nothing back because you handled that situation horribly. And then this guy is right there for you. Right there for you to replace Devers. Replace that bat. And you let him go to the fucking Baltimore Orioles. And then I look at the contract. I go, oh, well, maybe they gave him a crazy deal. No, 5 years, $155 million. $31 million a year, about the going rate for a top hitter, top slugger in the game. And you weren't even, you offered, the reports are saying that the Sox might have even offered 3 years. I've heard 4 years, 140, something like that. Like, what are we doing here? If you say you're going to go and get a premier hitter for the lineup, and you say you're going to go get an actual number 2 pitcher behind Crochet, then do what the fuck you say. Because it's been 3 or 4 years in a row where you've told your fans, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and you've been cheap and have done nothing. And this is not necessarily Craig Breslow's fault. Because if the owner doesn't want to spend, which he doesn't, because he doesn't give a shit about winning anymore, if the owner doesn't want to spend, Craig Breslow can only do what he can do. And if you look at the job that Craig Breslow did last year, he did a pretty good job with the limitations. He traded for Crochet. They signed him to a value cheap money deal because that's what they care about. They care about the contracts and the money more than they care about putting good players on the field. Because John Henry doesn't give a shit about winning anymore. Operating this team like we're the Pittsburgh Pirates, for crying out loud. The Boston Red Sox should never be getting outbid by the Baltimore Orioles. That is embarrassing. Embarrassing. This guy was tailor-made as like it was like a shoo-in almost that he was either going back to the Mets or he was coming to the Red Sox. Nobody had the Orioles on their bingo card at all, and you let that guy go, and then you let him go in the division. Not only do you don't get him, which is he's the number 1 guy you should be going after, and he's the guy the lineup fucking needs. You don't get him. You let him go into the division. So for the next 5 years now, we got to deal with this guy. And now all of a sudden, you look at the AL East, and the Blue Jays, they got Dylan Cease. They're in it for Tucker. They're clearly going to get back and hopefully win the World Series if you're them. The Yankees are going to be the Yankees. And now you got the Orioles just signed the best power hitter on the fucking market who should be playing first base in Fenway next year. Then a report comes out that says, oh, the Red Sox were weary of Pete Alonso's age. Just turned 31, like, I think December 7th, like literally days ago. Just turned 31. I go, okay, so not that old. Not that old, especially for a guy who's probably going to be a DH in 2 years. Not that old, but you're weary of his age. Okay, so that comes out. Then that same day, a report comes out that the Red Sox are potentially a suitor to trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks for Ketel Marte. Now, I love that player. I love that player. If the Red Sox got him, I would be thrilled. That is a great player. 32. Don't care about age there. As I record this on a Friday, a report came out today that the Red Sox are in on possibly making a trade with the Cardinals for Wilson Contreras. Another good player. A player that that's an upgrade. It's a good player. 34 years old. So are you really weary of the age, or is John Henry still a cheap fuck? Because if you're not willing to, and then another report came out today that said the Red Sox aren't interested in long-term deals. First of all, 5 years, not a long-term deal at all. Juan Soto signed for 15 last year. 15 years. 5 years is not a long-term deal. That is about a standard deal in today's baseball. So again, talking out of your fucking ass. Then, so if you're telling me that you're not interested in long-term deals and somebody who literally turned 31 5 days ago, you're wary of his age, that is you telling me, a Red Sox fan, that you're never going to sign a premier free agent ever again. Because A, they're either going to be too old for you or they're going to want too long of a contract. You're perfectly okay. And again, obviously, Roman Anthony, my tribal chief, God bless. I love Roman Anthony. But you're perfectly okay signing him to an 8-year deal because he's 20 years old and he signed for not as much money as he was going to make. You're okay with signing Crochet, who's a stud, to that deal because 6 for 160 or 180, whatever they paid for him. If he was a free agent, he'd get double that. Double. So you're okay with spending the money there, which I'm fine. Sign those guys. Those guys are good. Sign them. But do that and then open the fucking pockets, man. You're competing with, look who you're competing with now. Nobody's going to compete with the Dodgers financially. Nobody. They just signed Edwin Diaz, the top reliever. There's rumors that go fuck yourself with the Dodgers. At some point, Major League Baseball needs to step in and go, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. If there's a trade for Skubal where the Dodgers don't really give up anything of significance and they just add Skubal to their team, Major League Baseball should step in and go, no, we're not. No. There's a competitive there has to be a competitive balance. And I'm not talking about a salary cap either, but there has to be some sort of competitive balance somewhere. But you're not going to catch up to the Dodgers and the Mets of the world. You're not going to have those payrolls. But if you're losing out on payroll to the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles, sell the fucking team. Sell the fucking team. Because what you're going to do, and I've said it before, you made the trade for Sonny Gray, and you're going to talk out of your ass and pretend that Sonny Gray is a number 2 starter when he's a good 3 at best. At best. And then you're going to re-sign Alex Bregman, who I like Bregman. But those are the moves you're going to make. And you're going to sit here and you're going to tell, well, we got our hitter. We upgraded the... No, you didn't. It's the same fucking team. Except we might be a little bit worse because Giolito was really good last year, and I don't think Sonny Gray is going to be as good as Lucas Giolito was last year. So really, you replace Giolito with an older, lesser pitcher, and then you're just going to bring back a guy that you already had last year. Now, there's a long way to go. All these trade rumors, again, I love or like the players that I've heard the Red Sox be blah, blah, blah. But guess what, guys? It's been 4.5 years where the Red Sox have been in on a lot of guys, and they've signed fucking none of them. The Interest Kings. That should be their fucking nickname. The Interest Kings. Because they're interested in everybody. But when it comes down to it, they're fucking, no, I'd rather stay rich. And just lie to my fans. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And, I don't think anything will change because I think Fenway will sell out. There's still going to be a good team next year, and Fenway will sell out most of the games, if not every game. And it doesn't matter because they're not going to care. But this is becoming a routine now. Where we get to the offseason, we are told the Red Sox are going to be aggressive. They have money to spend. They have, they have a lot of good prospects and all this, so they can make trades. And they made one last year. They got Crochet. That was a great deal. If they make a trade and pull off Ketel Marte and you bring Bregman back, I'll shut the fuck up. I'll come back on here and I'll say, I'm good. But I don't believe they're going to do that. Because they've been lying their asses off to me and this whole fan base for half a decade. Oh, well, we don't want to sign. We don't want to sign contracts just to sign them. Like we want to wait till the time is right. Well, the kids are up, man. The kids are up. We made the playoffs last year. When's the time right, John? When's the time right? Either be a competitive owner again and fucking own the team to win World Series, or get the fuck out of here. You own about 8 other things. Get out. Sell it, make your $8 billion, and please piece the fuck off. Because if we're going to operate our team like with a fucking Tampa Bay Rays, get the fuck out of here. An embarrassing week once again, which happens about I would say half a dozen times a year. An embarrassing week for the Red Sox. An embarrassing week. And Craig Breslow looks like a piece of shit again. And I don't think it's his fault. But he looks like an idiot now. If you own a team, you should be putting all of your resources and making that team the best you can. You owe that to your fans. And any franchise, the Pirates, the Rays, the Reds, the Red Sox are obviously payroll-wise more than that, but they do it just enough to shut most of the people around here up. Oh, we'll give you a little sprinkle here. Oh, yeah, look what we did here. Yeah. Oh. Just enough. Just enough. They'll throw, full throttle. Fucking nothing. Oh, we're going to be aggressive. Nothing. Sonny Gray, like a move like Sonny Gray, where, again, not a bad player. But when you tell your fan base, oh, we're going to get a legit number 2 to go behind Garrett, and you bring in Sonny Gray, no. That's a move that is like, oh, well, they did something. All right, I mean, he's not bad. No. No. And that's what they do. They give you just enough where you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right, yeah. Okay. And then I've been yelling about this for years, like just all the time. You traded Rafi. All of this could have been avoided if you just didn't trade Rafi Devers last year. You would have that bat that the lineup needs a power hitter in the middle of the lineup. That is the one thing that the lineup is missing. And you already had it. And you traded it away. And don't get me wrong, he had his fault. He was acted like a baby. But you traded it away because of your mismanagement of a situation. And really, you traded it away because you wanted to save money on that contract. And then guess what we were told after that? Oh, well, we have this money now that we can now allocate it. And guess what they've done? Fucking nothing! Okay. I'm sure as the hot stove and the winter goes on, I'm sure that won't be the last rant I have when it comes to the Boston Red Sox. I am just sick and tired of year after year of watching my team operate like a mid-tier fucking team when we are the goddamn Boston Red Sox. It's an embarrassment. None of the fans should be accepting this whatsoever. And if you are, you're a pussy. And you're a shill. And I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you. Billionaires up there not wanting to spend money and letting us fans down routinely. Routinely. There should be signs at Fenway when the season opens up saying sell the team. There should be anger at Fenway Park. When we have a potential, again, long way to go. But as it currently stands right now, especially some of the rumors that are happening about what offers have been already made for Ketel. Now, again, we get Ketel Marte. I will shut up. That guy's an all-world, like, he's unbelievable. But the rumors are that the Rays, another division opponent of the Red Sox, have already offered Ryan Pepio and another good play, which the Red Sox, they're not going to match that. They're not going to match that. So now if Ketel Marte ends up on the Rays, we could be in last place next year. Literally. We could be fighting for 4th or 5th place in the division. That's a joke. That's a joke. And you would think the owners of the team would give a shit about that, but they don't, because they own Liverpool and they own the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they own the Fenway Sports Group in NASCAR, and they own this, and they own that. When the NBA finally gets to Las Vegas, John Henry's going to probably own that. Because the Red Sox are just a thing in the portfolio, man. They are not the prize that they used to be for John Henry. He's a billionaire. He's 80. He can barely speak. He doesn't give a shit. He's made his money. He doesn't give a shit. But he makes millions, if not billions of dollars every year off the Red Sox. No matter how bad we are, he just rakes in money. So he doesn't have to give a shit. The only way that he will give a shit is if the fans make him give a shit. And we're just too passionate a city that we're never going to not go to the games. Or we're never going to not pay attention to the team. I just don't think we're not. Especially now with like Roman here. Like it's not going to happen. So we're just going to be in this cycle until he actually either sells the team or he's no longer around. Oh, it's fucking embarrassing. All right, that's the end. That's the end of my Red Sox rant. Clip that. Go fucking unbelievable, dude. Fucking garbage bag bullshit. I can't believe it. All right. Pro wrestling, though. Tonight, Saturday night's main event. 4 matches as of now. But everybody's focused on one thing and one thing only. It is the last match of John Cena's. WWE's been calling him the greatest of all time. He obviously is in the short discussion for it. I don't think we're ever going to see somebody like him or a career like him ever again. I just think, and I'm one of those guys for a good chunk of that. I was a Cena sucks guy. I know he's from my state. So like, obviously I root for him to an extent because I root for, my people. But I was a Cena sucks guy, dude. He fought all the guys I liked. He fought Punk. He fought Edge. He fought all the dudes I liked. And I just thought it was corny and over the top. And, I'm not talking about the man. I'm not talking about the man, John Cena, but the character. In those mid-2010s, bro, come on. That shit was corny as hell. And even the early 20s, I was just the same thing all the time. It was brutal. But, you're talking a guy that was at the top of the card for 15 straight years. Just holding down that company through creatively some of the darkest times. He was like the one constant. And he's going to main event this show. And they had the tournament. And Gunther, who I think is the perfect opponent for John Cena in his last match, actually. I've seen some stuff online where people are like, why does he deserve? He's one of one, people. He doesn't have to be your favorite. But if you actually watch the program, Gunther is he's a Hall of Famer right now. He's a legend. He's one of one, dude. And he's the exact guy you want to face John Cena. Stop overcomplicating things. John Cena is the cookiest cutter babyface the company has ever seen. It's his last match, and he's going against one of the true only people in the company that is a legitimate heel. Like a legitimate heel where most people don't like him. This is the exact guy you want John Cena to be going against. And it's not that complicated, guys. The people in the arena, the people watching the matches, now I will be living up to the Cena sucks, and I'm rooting for Gunther because that's who I am. It's out of respect for John. That's out of respect for John. But it's pretty simple, man. It's the ultimate good guy versus an evil, evil bad guy. Like, just go to the show, have fun. You should be rooting for John Cena to beat Gunther. Like, this is how it's supposed to go. I don't know why we have to look into layers and layers and layers of things sometimes. Like, this is pretty simple. Super, super good guy, biggest good guy of all time against massive, foreign, evil heel who's going to be even more massive and evil and even a bigger heel because of this match coming out of it. Wrestling's not hard sometimes, guys. We make it hard by yeah, it doesn't make sense. Again, I completely understand if you wanted somebody else to be the guy, fine. But for the people out there saying that Gunther, acting like Gunther's not one of the best guys in the company, grow up. Grow up. Like all the times that I was rooting for John Cena and I didn't like John Cena, I wasn't sitting here saying, oh, he's not one of the best guys in the company. No. Grow up. My question is, how does this go? Because I think another reason why Gunther is a perfect guy is because either way it goes, he's not hurt by this at all. If Cena beats him, okay. Sure, the crowd will get on him and they'll chant and they'll rag on him and stuff like that. But that doesn't hurt him. I don't think Gunther takes a step down because he loses to John Cena in John Cena's last match. But if he beats him, it's good for Gunther either way. And also, and I credit our Hive crew member and one of my best pals, Pluggo, when we did beards this week. He said, a lot of people are saying it should have been a younger guy and things like that. I understand. But at the same time, if they put it on a younger guy and then that younger guy doesn't live up to expectations for whatever reason, you're going to look back on it and go, oh, think about how people view Baron Corbin for the Kurt Angle match. And I like Baron Corbin, and I thought Baron Corbin was undervalued by the fans and the company and underutilized. But think about how the fans, when you think about Kurt Angle's final match being against Baron Corbin, how does that make you feel? That would be what would happen if John Cena, and I'm just going to throw a name out there. I like this person, but I'm going to throw a name out there. But if it was John Cena, and this guy feels like he's can't miss anyway. But if they did a John Cena Obafemi, now Obafemi is going to be a star, so that's probably a bad example. But if they picked a younger guy, and then like I said, for whatever reason, injury, God forbid something happens, where you find out he's not a good guy, even though they'd fucking bring him back, they don't give a shit. But you know what I mean. If something were to happen with that guy, and he doesn't live up to expectations, and having him beat John Cena in John Cena's last match, that's high expectations. That's high expectations. And if they don't live up to that, and you look back on Cena's career and you go, oh, he got retired by that guy, that's a risk you have to. So again, I think Gunther is the perfect opponent for a multitude of reasons. I actually think Gunther will beat him. I'm not 100% confident on that. I think if there was ever going to be a guy that didn't go out on his back because WWE wanted it to be that way, not necessarily Cena, because I think Cena, to me, feels like a guy that's like, no, I'm going to put someone over. But I don't know if WWE views that the same. It would be Cena, I feel like, would be that guy that would win a match like this. But with that being said, I think he's going to lose. And I don't think he's going to tap out, but I think he's going to pass out. I think Gunther's going to make him pass out. And then I think Gunther does his little mini celebration and he gets the hell out of the ring and John kind of gets to his feet. And then I don't think there's a time limit. I think that John's just going to be in that ring and that crowd is going to give him a 15-minute, whatever it is, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hour, who knows? But the crowd is going to give him what he deserves. And we'll all be watching, and most of us will be emotional about it probably. And it's going to be, and that's going to be it. Not the last time we'll ever see him. He signed a, ambassador deal. I would expect him to be the headliner of the Hall of Fame next year. At the latest, the year after. But that would be in Saudi, so fuck that. You do it next year. But I would expect him to be the main guy. You should just give him the Hall of Fame by himself. I know they would never do that. But honestly, if there was ever going to be a guy that is the only guy that goes in 1 year, Cena. Just give him the whole fucking 2 hours. Let him do what he wants. Yeah. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. Again, he's been here for, 36 dates this year. In the last couple, he's been in and out for a while now, but he's still John Cena, So I feel like it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. Look at the other matches on this card, though. Obviously, everyone's going to be tuning in for Cena, duh. And Cena and Gunther, they're going to have that's going to be a good match. I'd like Gunther to chop him like 35 times. If you want me to be honest, I would like Gunther to chop him about 35 times. But the other matches on this card, guys, they are doing the NXT versus main roster people. The WWE Raw Tag Team Champions, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee are going up against Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Okay. Fucking hose me down, bro. That should open the show. And that is going to be insane. That is going to be utterly insane, that match. And I think, here's my thing. None of these matches are for the titles. I think the NXT people should win every single one of these matches. Every single one of them. I think AJ and Dragon Lee will win this one, though. But I honestly feel like the NXT people should win every match. Because I view it as, if Javon Evans and Leon Slater win this match, then they have a right to challenge for those titles. Why wouldn't they? And we just saw on NXT, they had Deadline last week. Great show. Great show. And first of all, both Iron Survivor matches were great. That women's Iron Survivor match, holy shit. Real good. Kendall Gray, my God. And God bless. Might I add. Javon Evans wins like he absolutely should have, which means he has a world title match at New Year's Evil. But he comes out at the beginning of NXT and he says, I'm feeling frisky tonight. I want to put this up tonight. And then he fucking loses because Ricky Saints turned heel and pulled the referee out and screwed Javon, and Obafemi retains. And now they're doing a fatal four-way, not involving either Ricky Saints or Javon Evans, for a number one contendership at New Year's Evil. Why? I swear to God, sometimes WWE they take 9 steps to get to the step they already fucking had. Javon Evans already had the title match. But we're gonna go through 4 or 5 more steps to eventually getting him the title match where he wins the thing. Where he already just had it. On the main roster. On January 5th, I think. On January 5th, on that first Raw, Braun Breaker is challenging CM Punk for the world title. Braun Breaker should 1,000% win that match. It's right there in front of you. He already has the title match. Just do it. But what they're going to do is they're going to have him lose, and then they're going to have him win the Rumble or win the Elimination Chamber to get to another title match at Mania and probably win it when he can just win it on January 5th. Anyway. See what the Red Sox do to me? I actually had a great time watching pro wrestling this week, but this is what the Red Sox do to me. They bring the hate out of me. But no. But this tag match is going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be rooting for the NXT people in all these matches, but I actually think AJ and Dragon Lee is going to win this one. Then we get these next two. Sol Ruco versus Bayley. Now, you all know how I feel about Bayley. She is my goat. I love Bayley. We are big Pam lovers here. Love her. And Sol Ruca, no question about it, going to be a future big-time star. She already is a star. Like, when she's on the main roster, she looks like she belongs. And she's over. And that Iron Survivor match, they kind of took her out of it a little bit. But It was just really good. She was great in that match. This should be quite good. And I actually think this is a match where I think the NXT, I think Sol Ruka is going to beat Bayley. I think Sol Ruka is going to beat Bayley. I could see some bullshit happening. Maybe a Kabuki Warriors situation. They come out, they distract Bayley. I would love just straight up, but like, I think Sol's going to win this one. I do. But again, this is another match that these ladies are going to put on a show, man. They're going to put on a show. And I'm glad it's Bayley in this spot because I think everyone loves Bayley, but I think Bayley is going to remind some people how damn good she is in this match on Saturday. Because I think people, and it's partly because of the booking, but I think Bayley's kind of, she should be. And then this last match, I'm very intrigued by this match. It's a battle of champions. It's the NXT heavyweight champion, Obafemi, going one-on-one with Cody Rhodes. And Obafemi should 1,000,000% win this match. He should beat Cody. 100,000,000%. Have Drew come out. Have Drew attack Cody, a ref bump, whatever you want to do, because we know WWE, it's what they do. But have a ref bump, have some crap happen, have Drew McIntyre come out, Claymore Cody's head off, and Obafemi should pin the WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Absolutely should do that. And then Obafemi can then lose the title to Ricky or whoever, and he should be in the Rumble and on the main roster from that point on because he defeated Cody Rhodes. That's how I feel about it. Take reports and rumors for what you will, but there is a report that CM Punk is also going to be at this show tonight. Obviously, as of right now, I'm recording this before SmackDown. These are the only 4 matches on the show. I don't think they're going to add another match, and I don't know if he's just going to be there for. I assume if Cena and Gunther end the night, I assume the whole roster is going to come out and stand near the entryway and like give, right? They're gonna do all the stuff for John, as they should. So I don't know if he's just gonna be, but they said he was advertised for it. So maybe listen, they're not bringing back Jesse Ventura. I know he's the world champion, but like put CM Punk on the table. Have CM Punk be the Jesse Ventura for the night. I know he's like a character on the show, but he's good at that. He's good at everything. I don't know. There's also people saying that, which I hate this, by the way, that there's going to be a new look for Saturday night's main event. They're going to get away from the retro feel and make it more, probably, as we know, TKO, generic as fuck. Hate that. Just keep it the retro. It's what it is. Keep the music. What are we doing? You have to make everything now? Oh, I hate it. Anyway. But I'm excited about Saturday night's main event tonight. I think it's going to be a hell of a show. And there's no timed run time because it's on Peacock, so it's basically a PLE at this point. Yeah, and I think they're going to let Cena and kind of what goes on with Cena just kind of happen the way it's going to happen. So we'll see. But it should be quite good. And again, Josh and I, plus some of our Hive pals popping in and out, will be here live tonight for a watch-along of Saturday night's main event. AEW. AEW. Let me tell you. On Wednesday night, Dynamite, we crowned the first ever women's AEW tag team champions, and I'm glad they did it. The Babes of Wrath, Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, loved it. Called it a couple weeks ago. I was hoping that they would go outside the box and do this, and they did it. They defeated the Timeless Love Bombs to open Winter is Coming on Wednesday night. And man, good match. I'm so happy for Willow and Harley. I think that is two deserving ladies. I think they're going to have a good title run. I'm excited to see the feuds they get into here. Now that the tournament's over and they can kind of defend these titles and have feuds and build these titles up. I loved it. I loved it. Willow Nightingale is the purest babyface AEW has had for a few years. I think she is the purest babyface, and Harley Cameron has turned herself into just a good worker and just somebody who maximizes their. I've said it before. I view Harley Cameron in the same type of the same type of caliber as I do like a Chelsea Green. Now Chelsea Green I think is better and she's more established and stuff like that. But like Chelsea Green was somebody who, when she went back to WWE, she was given a few minutes here and she made them count. She made it funny or she stood out, and then they gave her more and more and more. And now, not that they ever fucking defend the U.S. title or even have it on TV, it feels like, but she's the 2-time United States Women's Champion. She's the mixed tag AAA champion with Ethan Page. She got those opportunities because she got herself over and was doing the work when she was given the minutes to maximize them. And I feel the same way about Harley Cameron. She was like 4th or 5th wheel in QTV in backstage segments with fucking QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. She was doing that shit, which again, some of it was funny, but like that's where she was. And now she's one half of the first ever AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. Like she got there. She made her shit count. She did the singing. She's hilarious. She did the puppet stuff. She got better incrementally in the ring. The more we saw her, she put in the work. She busted her ass. And now she's in the record books as a first-time champion. Inaugural. And obviously the first time she's been a champion. But you know what I mean. And I think that is a very deserving team, and I'm very excited to see where they go from here. I'll tell you what, though. Now we are in the heat of the Continental Classic, and it has been good. It has been very, very good. But we saw a couple good matches on Wednesday night, but the match that Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey put on Dynamite. That was the best and I know recency bias, I don't care. That was the best television match all year. Bar none. That match was incredible. Some of the bumps in that match, the power slam, the body slam from the barricade that Fletcher did to Speedball, where the crowd, I mean, oh my God, the crowd just dropped inside. Like, oh, that's what that was. That was the reaction from the whole arena. The back and forth, the ending sequence where it looks like it's, Speedball hits everything. It looks like he's going to win, and somehow Fletcher kicks out of the flipping knees. And then he hits Speedball with the running kick and the brain buster, and then somehow Speedball kicks out. And then they go back and forth, and it looks like Fletcher's going to get him, but Speedball rolls him up and hooks the legs, like with his legs in a cradle, and he gets a 1, 2, 3 to get his first 3 points. Tremendous. If you did not see this match, go out of your way, make the time. Make the time. Spectacular. Just truly an outstanding match between Fletcher and Speedball. And this Gold League in particular, the Continental Classic is insane, dude. We've seen Okada versus Pac. We've seen Okada and Fletcher. Fletcher and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight and Darby, who had to be replaced by Jungle Boy, who earlier in the night had a really, really good match with Okada in the Continental Classic, where Okada won. So now he is now tied with Fletcher atop the Gold League with 6 points. But that was a fantastic match. The next match, I think, for Speedball is against his partner, Kevin Knight, and they both have 3 points, and the loser of that match is probably out. Like, they're probably on the outside looking in, like their Continental Classic dreams would be ended, and the fact that the tag team is going to have to fight each other for that, yes. Yes. We still have to see Pac and Kevin Knight. We still have to see Pac and Fletcher. Bro. Pac and Jungle Boy, Fletcher and Jungle Boy and Speedball, We're going to see Speedball and Okada again in a rematch, and they had arguably the best match on that pay-per-view a couple months ago. I think it was a Revolution. But that was a great match. Man. And then I'm not even talking about the Blue League. Like, we saw Moxley and Claudio. We saw Moxley and Takeshita on Collision. Claudio got upset on Collision by Mascara Dorada, which was out of nowhere. Damn, brother. Damn. I love the Continental Classic. I've been saying it. The ladies need one next year. Give it to me in the summer. Give the ladies the summer. Give the men the winter. Easy peasy, baby. Needs to happen. Needs to happen. And then Dynamite ended with a world title match. Samoa Joe, Eddie Kingston. You know, it was a good match. Obviously, it's not going to compete with the matches we saw earlier in the night as far as that goes, but it was a good match. They beat the crap out of each other. Everybody loves Eddie. Everybody was pulling for Eddie. But at the end, Eddie he tapped technically, but he was on the way of passing out. But he tapped out in the Coquina clutch. Samoa Joe retains. AEW released a social media thing that happened in the arena after the show with Bryan Danielson and Kingston. Again, make the time. Make the time to go see that because holy moly, that was really good. And then we had Swerve and Hangman teaming up to take on Hobbs and Shibata in a tornado tag match. This was good stuff. They started fighting in the crowd. It was kind of went a little bit of everywhere. But this was really good back and forth stuff. There was that moment in the match where Hangman and Swerve both did a flurry to each of their opponents, and they kind of turned around and were facing each other. And it was just kind of like everyone got the goosebumps. The crowd kind of went up a level in noise because it was like these two guys, man. We watched them across each other, staring at each other, wanting to kill each other. And now they're looking at each other like on the same page, like, holy crap, man, you know? So I thought that was great. I thought the ending sequence with Hobbs kind of barking at them from the apron. They both slide out. Hangman hits the buckshot right into the house call. 1, 2, 3. Hangman and Swerve get the victory. And then we saw later on in the evening that Hangman said World's End, he wants a shot back at his title. So we'll see if they get to that. I'm sure Swerve will have something to say about that. And I'm sure there might be a returning guy that has a contract for a world title match. I think he might have something to say about that too. So good stuff happening in AEW. Big stuff happening this weekend in WWE. Next weekend is World's End. No, I'm sorry, 2 weekends from now. Sorry, the 27th. So World's End is still a couple weekends away. It's the Saturday of Christmas week. I will be live, I believe, with Jamie. I don't think we've announced it yet, but I think it's going to be me and Jamie for that one, which I'm excited about. I've done a few things, really I think one thing for sure, but I've done a few things with Jamie, but I'm excited to do a full-on show with Jamie. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So that was that. Good stuff, man. That Continental Classic is humming, bro. It's humming. All right, what other big news happened? Earlier today it was reported that Wrestle Kingdom in New Japan already sold out. Over 50,000 people are going to be there. It's Wrestle Kingdom 20. It's the 20th anniversary. Okada making his return. Tanahashi's retirement match. I think that probably has a lot to do with it. He's literally a hero over there. So him and Okada fighting one last time in the retirement match. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. But a sellout of the Tokyo Dome, that is impressive. That is impressive. Let's see here. Anything else? Any other wrestling news that I missed? Oh yeah. Man, CM Punk has really gone the way of a WWE shill, huh? Like he's definitely a company guy. Came out the other day, he said that Logan Paul is good for pro wrestling. Now, I don't necessarily disagree because I think Logan Paul is very good at it and he is a bad guy that everybody hates. And I think, but for a guy like CM Punk and what he stands for in the same calendar year to go to Saudi Arabia, which is something that we never thought he would do, and now openly, like in an interview, praise Logan Paul. What a world. What a world we are living in. And I get it. He's older. He's mature. He's happy, I feel like. But what a world we are living in. What a world we are living in. Yeah. I think that's it. I don't think I missed any news-related stuff, I don't think. No. Oh, on Raw, they did the Mystery Man. The Mystery Man showed up twice. Are we really going to draw this out for it to be Austin Theory? And again, I don't dislike Austin Theory like some. But, like, I understand not showing him at War Games. That's fine. But he shows up twice, 2 separate times on Monday. And we're still not going to show him? Like, are we going to drag this out for weeks and weeks and weeks? And then when it's Austin Theory, the majority of the audience is like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I don't think you're going to get the react. And again, I personally, for me, it's not anything to do with him. I actually think he's really talented. And he's still young. Like, I think he's a super talented kid. But I don't think they're going to get the reaction they think they're going to get. If we're going to be like, oh, a month from now, it's going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? And they take the mask off, and it's Austin Theory. And everyone's going to be like, oh. Ooh. And that'll be that. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so hopefully they do it soon, because I don't think that's going well. But I think that's going to be, I think that's it for the wrestling banter, I think, today. All right. You know what it is. We already talked about baseball. I'm not getting back into it. I hate my team. Not the players. I hate my ownership. NFL Sunday. It is week 15. We had a game last night, actually a quite exciting game, to be honest with you, where the Atlanta Falcons came from 2 touchdowns down to upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-28. Of course, I'm going against Kyle Pitts in 2 fantasy leagues in the playoffs, and he had the best game of his fucking career. So thanks for that, dick. So that was fun. But a really exciting game, actually. But 29-28, the Falcons win. They improved to 5-9, and the Buccaneers, I picked the Buccaneers to go to the NFC Championship game, and they were 5-1 earlier in the year, and Baker was getting MVP. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, I thought they'd be good, and they have fallen off a fucking cliff. Now, injuries, obviously, but I don't know what the hell. And then Todd Bowles, which I actually kind of liked, threw all his players under the bus after the game, and he was like, hey, look, we're the coach. It's a players league, man. We only can do what we can do. We need our players to, this one's on the players. And I love that. Yeah, that's right. Don't be cushiony. Oh, we just got to get back. No, they sucked tonight. They choked. They need to be better. They're grown-ass men. They can take it. If they can't, get out. But yeah. All right, game of the week, y'all. Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. in Foxborough, Massachusetts. It is the 11-2 New England Patriots, my 11-2 New England Patriots, hosting the 9-4 Buffalo Bills. If the Patriots win, they will clinch the AFC East for the first time since 2019. And if the Bills win, they'll still be down a game with the tie. Well, actually, we'd be even on the tiebreak, but they would still be down a game, but they would obviously have more control of potentially making the AFC East go down to the wire. And look, the Bills have been playing good the last couple of weeks. Josh Allen has been superhero Josh Allen the last 2 or 3 games. That game he had against Cincinnati last week was absurd. I expect the Patriots to win this game. I expect it to be a close one, like the first one. I expect the Bills to play a better football game. They played like shit in that first game, and again, we obviously were not playing like the fine-tuned machine we are now at that point. But, the Bills had 8, 9, 10 penalties, 3 turnovers. Josh Allen stunk, and it took us a field goal in the last second to beat them. So I expect them to play better, but I do expect the Patriots to win this game. However, with that being said, I would not be shocked if the Bills ended up winning a close one. Like put it this way, I don't think it's going to happen, but if the Bills win a game, beat us 27-24, yeah, I'll be upset, but like I'm not going to hold that against the Patriots. They've won 10 games in a row. They're 11-2. Like I'm not going to hold that against. Like the Bills are a formidable team. They were a Super Bowl favorite. I don't know if they still are, but they were a Super Bowl favorite. They got arguably the best. I don't even think it's much of an argument, but they have arguably the best player in the league on their team. Again, I would be picking the Patriots, and I do expect them to win, but like I'm not going to be shocked. Now, if the Bills came in here and blew us out, that's not good. That's not good. And I would not feel good about that. I wouldn't feel good about any type of loss, but I really wouldn't feel good about that. But if the Patriots have a back and forth, hard-hitting game and May plays to the level of Allen and, we lose by 3, maybe 6, or we beat them by 3. I mean, to me, that's all the same. That's all the same. But the division's right there for you. Take it. We need to be fighting for that number 1 seed. We need to be fighting for that number 1 seed. And winning this game puts us in the driver's seat for it. So we got to capitalize. And the Bills have not been too great on the road. They're 3-3 away from Buffalo. They're 5-1 at home. No, I'm sorry, 6-1 at home. So they're 6-1 at home and 3-3 away. And Josh Allen, if you look at his stats from from passing the ball from inside the pocket on the road, not good this year. He's been insane with his feet, though. Like it'll be like 3rd and 6, and you'll see him take off, and you're like, oh, he's going to get the first down, and then he turns it into a 56-yard touchdown run. It's like, okay, well, what the hell? And you just look at it, and you go, this is a freaking superhuman. Superhuman. But this is the most important Patriots game since Tom Brady was here. And I know what some people, they played a playoff game. No. Mm-mm. Nobody took that. Nobody thought we would. No. Yes, it was cool to make the playoffs with Mac, and like that was great. But we didn't we obviously we wanted him to win, but we knew there was no excitement about that. We knew what was happening. We limped to the finish. We knew what was happening. This is legit. This is a legitimate, massive game. And it could be snowing. The weather reports today say that could be a snow game right there. Whew. I am very excited about that game. I am very, very excited about that game. You know what game I'm not excited about? The Cleveland Browns, 3-10, going to Chicago, who they just had their win streak snapped last week by the Packers against the Chicago Bears. I expect the Bears to get back to their winning ways. The Browns have a great defense. I'm interested to see how Caleb reacts to it, but I do think the Bears offensively are just a way more talented team than the Browns. Adunze should be back this week, which is a big-time weapon for the Bears. I expect the Bears to get back in the winning ways, so I am going with the Chicago Bears. Divisional matchup. I'm sure when you looked at this in Week 15 at the beginning of the year, you were probably like, oh, this could be for the division. But it is not with the seasons that these two have had. We have the 6-7 Baltimore Ravens on their way to Cincinnati to take on the 4-9 Cincinnati Bengals. And let me tell you, Joe Burrow's, the way he's been talking this week, if I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I am getting nervous. Because he could be asking for a trade soon, or God forbid, pulling an Andrew Luck and retiring early. That guy's gotten the shit kicked out of him because of the inept leadership of the Bengals not putting people in front of him to protect him. Incredible. But yes, the Ravens are favored by 2.5. Lamar doesn't look right to me. He still looks injured. With that being said, I'm actually going to go Bengals here. I don't know why. But I'm going to go Bengals here. I just got a vibe that they're going to win this game. Again, I don't know why, but I'm going Bengals there. Another divisional matchup. I bet you are they all divisional matchups this week? Well, most, yeah. Another divisional matchup. We have the 9-4 Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Kansas City to take on the 6-7 Kansas City Chiefs. As of right now, the Chiefs could be missing the playoffs, y'all. which would be crazy. With that being said, they're going to win this football game. The Chiefs are going to win this football game. Look, if the Chiefs win out and they're 10-7, with luck, they could sneak in. And if they sneak in and they're a 6 or 7 seed, you do not want to have to deal with them. You do not want to have to deal with them, or more in particular, that man at quarterback. With that being said, I do think the Chiefs are going to win this game. I think they're going to bounce back 7-7. They'll be after this game because they got to win out. If they have any chance, they need to win out. And I think Mahomes is going to do his damnedest to make sure they do. And I think it starts this week. The Chargers are good. I like the Chargers, but I think it's going to be like 20 degrees or lower in Kansas City, outdoors, that environment with that crowd. I think that the Chiefs are gonna win that. Look at this fucking matchup right here. Holy crap. The 3-10 Commanders in New York against the 2-11 Giants. Who cares? Jaden Daniels hurt again, so he's out. I'm going to go Giants. Did you hear the story, though? The Giants interim head coach fired Brian Cox, the former linebacker. He was a Patriot. He was a Jet for a long time? Brian Cox, I think he was the linebackers coach, or he was some sort of coach on the defense. The interim head coach fired him because of a disagreement over airplane seats. You hear the story? I hope you guys heard the story. Let me try to get the details. But this was literally over a disagreement because of airplane seats. I swear to God, man, this happened. Hold on. I got to find it. Now that I'm looking for it, I probably won't be able to find it. But yeah, a bizarre story. Imagine getting fired. That's just so weird to me. That's so weird to me, dude. I can't believe it. But yes, he was fired over, and now there's really no other details. It says over a disagreement about airplane seats on the team charter. Okay. That is so bizarre to me. But yeah, I'm going to go the Giants. Both teams stink. I don't know what else to do. The Giants are actually favored here. So I'm going to go with them. We then have the 2-11 Las Vegas Raiders in Philly to take on the 8-5 Eagles. The Eagles have lost 3 straight games. However, they are still coming in favored by an 11.5 points because they are so much better than the Raiders. The Raiders are starting Kenny Pickett, a guy who was the backup and won a Super Bowl with the Eagles last year. He's going back to Philly, starting this game for the Raiders, and he's going to get his ass kicked because I think the Eagles are gonna win this football game. Man, we have some good matches, but then some of them are so lopsided, dude. Another real lopsided one. The Jaguars will be home hosting the New York Football Jets. The Jets are 3-10. The Jaguars are 9-4. I still think Trevor Lawrence stinks. With that being said, though, the Jags actually might be all right. They're favored by 13.5 points. I would pick the Jets to cover there, but I do think the Jags win the game. But I would be betting the Jets to cover. That's a big spread. And again, Trevor Lawrence stinks. So I don't think they're going to win by and the Jets announced today that Brady Cook, their rookie quarterback, he's starting this Sunday. So maybe that spread is good. I don't know. But we'll see. We then have the Houston Texans 8-5. I believe they've won 4 games in a row, hosting the 3-10 Arizona Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett has actually played pretty well for the Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Texans here, man. That defense is crazy good, and they are going to get pressure on Jacoby, and Jacoby is not that mobile. So if they can get some pressure on Jacoby Brissett, I don't think he's going to be able to do much. So I'm picking the Texans to improve to 9-5. Earlier in the year, when CJ and I were chatting on here, we were like, are the Texans bad? Like this is the year they fall. No, they're okay. They're going to win that division because that's what they do. So, yeah, we'll see how else it goes. We got a couple. Let me tell you, guys. We got a couple good games in this back window here. We have these two games are fucking nice. We have the 9-3-1 Green Bay Packers traveling to Denver to take on the 11-2 Broncos. Packers, I'm gonna need you to do me a solid here, bro. I'm gonna need you to do me a solid here and beat the Broncos. That's what I'm gonna need. Green Bay's favored by 2.5 on the road. Wow, that's kind of 11-2. That's kind of disrespectful. Listen, the Broncos defense is spectacular, but all their wins or most of their wins have been pretty close because they don't offensively. They're not that. They're solid. Harvey's been a good pick for them. That was a good draft pick, RJ Harvey. He's been carrying them here a little bit, but like they're not potent offensively, so they win a lot of 3, 4, 6-point games because their defense is so damn good. Now I'm saying that could happen here, and they could win another close game. But I think this is a real, real tough test, and I like the way the Packers have looked the last couple of weeks. I think Jordan Love kind of stinks. Maybe not stinks, but I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks he is. With that being said, though, I think I'm taking the Packers here, mainly because I need them to beat the Broncos. Because if the Patriots win and the Broncos lose, we got a game lead, and then we need that top seed. But I'm picking the Packers here. And then we have another doozy right here. The 10-3 Los Angeles Rams are home to the 8-5 Detroit Lions. This is a good one. Jahmyr Gibbs might be the biggest weapon in the league right now. He has been insane he's been insane the whole time, but he has been insane these last 3 to 4 games. But the Rams have, even though they lost to the Panthers a couple weeks ago, the Rams have probably been the most consistent team in the NFC. Stafford, 35 touchdown passes, only 4 picks. That's stupid. Puka Nacua, already 93 receptions, 1,200 yards. Like, they're good. I think Sean McVay is the best coach in football. So I'm going to take the Rams and to win this one here. But that's 2 real good games. Both at 425. That's 2 real good games. We have 5 games at 425, and the way they scheduled this one out. And wouldn't you know, with the result that we got last night, with Tampa choking and losing that game, my Carolina Panthers, 7-6, are in New Orleans on Sunday afternoon to face the 3-10 Saints. And if the Panthers win that game, they will be in sole possession of first place in the NFC South. Now, if you remember, all year when it was CJ and I have been saying, Panthers are frisky, man. And they would win a game, and then they would suck, and CJ would be like, I don't know why you're digging the Panthers. I'm like, I'm just saying. They have a chance if they beat the 3-10 Saints, which is very capable. They can, because the Saints Saints actually play tough. Shuck has actually, I don't think he's going to amount to anything, but their offense moves the ball pretty well, and Shuck isn't half bad. Like, for a rookie, like they don't, like, it's not like they're make turnover. They're just not good. They're not talented enough. But the Panthers should win this football game. And they still have to play Tampa twice. They play them 2 out of the last 3 games of the year. Weeks 16 and 18. They play the Bucs. So that's really going to determine who wins the division. But if you can take a game lead and be in sole possession going into the first of those matchups, do it. Who would have thought? This is really the only like dud I would say of the late window. The 2-11 Titans are going to the 9-4 San Francisco 49ers. 12.5 point spread. Cam Ward's been playing a little better the last 2 or 3 weeks. Feels like he might be getting more up to speed now, but I think the Niners win. I think the Niners cover, dude. I think they're going to kill him. Christian McCaffrey. He's got 849 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground. He also has 85 receptions for 800 yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. 85 receptions. There's number one receivers on teams that don't have half of that. That's crazy. But yeah, the Niners should take care of business there. And then you got this fucking story. The Indianapolis Colts, who Daniel Jones last week in the game tore his Achilles, gone for the year. Unfortunate. He was, I think he was coming back to earth, and I think the Colts were already kind of fading and coming back to earth. But he was playing relatively well this year. That stinks. Then they bring in Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, plug up. They bring in Riley Leonard. I didn't think he looked half bad. Made a couple bad plays, as you would expect. He's a rookie or a second-year guy, but I didn't think he looked half bad. And then all of a sudden, on Monday night, on the pre-show, on ESPN, Adam Schefter does one of his drop-ins, and he says that the Indianapolis Colts are bringing in Phillip Rivers tomorrow for a physical. 44-year-old, hasn't played football, been retired since 2020. He's a grandfather. And they signed Phillip Rivers. He's been practicing with the team. And as of Friday afternoon when I am recording this, the rumor is he's going to start this game. I think, and again, I actually liked Phillip Rivers as a player. I liked how he was kind of a shit talker and a cocky guy. And he's good. He's probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame. I think it's a bad look for the league. You're telling me that you don't believe in your guy, Riley Leonard, your backup, or there's not another guy that's on a roster somewhere or who's been playing football within the last 5 years to call and sign that you had to go get Phillip Rivers? That's a bad look, man. And then if Phillip Rivers goes out there and lights it up and is actually good on Sunday, that's a bad look for the league of how poor the quarterback play is in the league, if that's what's happening. Or vice versa, if Rivers goes out there and gets killed, that's also a bad look for the league. They brought this old man out there to get annihilated. The Seahawks defense is good. That's a good defense they're playing in Seattle. You trying to get this guy killed? What a crazy story. Phillip Rivers. I could not believe that when I saw it. I could not believe it. With that being said, the Seahawks should demolish them. 13.5 points. I would contemplate going with the Seahawks and the points. I would. We then get to Sunday night. It's the 5-8 Vikings who got a win last week. J.J. McCarthy had a good game last week, so that means he's probably due for a shit one. They are in Dallas to take on the 6-1 Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is on track to play. He got a concussion, but they played on the Thursday last week, so he kind of had extra time. I think he is going to play. And I'm going to pick the Cowboys. JJ had a good game last week. I think that means he'll probably have a bad one this week. The Cowboys defense has actually been pretty good here. And you know how I feel about Dak, just an elite passer of the football. I think the Cowboys handle business. They get to 7-6-1, and they're nipping at the heels, man. Nipping at the heels of the Philly Eagles. So if the Eagles continue to mess up and just play the way they've been playing, the Cowboys could sneak this division. They really could. Very interesting. And then we get to Monday night. What a dud this is, man. The 6-7 Miami Dolphins, who have been good lately. 4 out of 5, I want to say they've won. They are in Pittsburgh to take on the 7-6 Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers coming off a big win last week. A part of me wants to pick the Dolphins here, but I think that's just because I hate the Steelers. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm picking the Miami Dolphins. No rhyme or reason. They've just been playing pretty well. They've saved McDaniel his job. I expect him to be the coach of the team next year. I think the way they've been playing the last 4 to 5 weeks has really saved him his job. So, but I'm going to pick the Dolphins. I think they got a little bit of a mojo. I've been saying it all year. I think the Steelers are frauds. TJ Watt, unfortunately, had to have surgery for a collapsed lung. So he's out for probably the year, I would think, or at least a while. Yeah, I'm gonna say screw it. They're both gonna be 7-7. The Dolphins are gonna win that game. So some big games, some big games this week. Lions, Rams, Packers, Broncos, Bills and Patriots. Chargers and Chiefs is still a big game, but the Chiefs kind of being a little bit down. It's not as big as it could be, but it's still a big game. The Chiefs, every game now for the Chiefs is a big game. It's a do or die game. But yeah, so that's the week there was. That's what's going on this week in football. Very excited. Hopefully I'll be in a good mood next week because my Patriots will have clinched the AFC East. But yeah, I appreciate you all tuning in. Hit that bell for notifications. Click that thumbs up for a like. Share this out. Follow me, JPJ Loves Gaming, on all social media platforms. You can see me all over the place. I do some stuff for Love Wrestling CA. I do some stuff for Body Slam. I do multiple things here at the Hive. Next week, you will get, like I said, I'll be here tonight, Saturday night's main event. Watch along. You'll find me here on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Watch along. And then we're taking a few weeks off for the holidays. I have the Swarm every Saturday morning here, and not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we will have our last high view of the year, where it's the bowl week, and we will do the off season, and then we will take a few weeks off for the holiday and come back in the new year with season 2 of the Hive Dynasty in college football. Plus, we got watch parties for AEW Dynamite. We're working on getting some down the line for SmackDown, NXT. We do the PLEs. We do it all. Pluggo does the playbook for college football and his picks. The Buzz with Jamie every single day. Ophelia hosted the Video Game Awards the other night, which was awesome. She got to co-stream it. That was cool. So she does all that stuff. Plus, on the Substack, she writes good video game reviews. Bryn does awesome content about wrestling. Josh just released a piece about what he wants to see in WWE 2K26 next year. We got good shit everywhere, y'all. We got good shit everywhere. So if you ain't on the bandwagon, get on it now, man. Get on it now. Appreciate you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy John Cena's last match tonight. Make sure you got your tissues next to you. It's going to be a ride, folks. I'll see you next week and we'll talk about it. Till then, peace out.